Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to your week. So happy to be here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Travel Cafe Kubal Studios. As you can see behind me, life is looking a little bit different. A lot of faith things behind me, which I'm all about, as you know. And of course, we have some beautiful pieces here. Antique beauties on the Lando Lagoon here in the Sunshine State. And I'm very excited because when I come down to the Sunshine State, I bring down the teal microphone for two reasons. One, my grandmother's favorite color and her birthstone, that teal aqua. And of course, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars color. And the Jags got a massive victory yesterday, staying alive in the postseason hopes at 6-8, staying alive in winning the AFC South hopes at 6-8, and they stopped the Cowboys from clinching with a victory. Cowboys now 10-4, and we'll see the Cowboys, I would imagine, advance forward to the playoffs, but the Jaguars made it a little bit more difficult on the Cowboys, and the Jaguars getting that victory in overtime. We have a ton of great stuff coming up for you where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I am ecstatic about today's broadcast. But first, I got to let you know that Cafe Kubal is available for you on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-thru location. And you can also find them by going to 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, where I was last week with Ryan Kabilis, the Director of Strength and Conditioning for the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team. And you should definitely check out Ryan's work and say hi to Ryan when you come out to the Dome. Ryan Kabilis, make sure you take a look at our show and take a listen to our show on youtube.com and facebook.com/wakeupcalldt. When you go to either one of those, make sure you click follow on Facebook and YouTube while you're on our channels. We appreciate that so very much. So with that being said, you're with us on facebook.com, youtube.com, and mixlr.com, all /wakeupcalldt. We love having you here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And we have the opportunity to also connect with you on facebook.com /livenowdt and by connecting with you on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage. So however you're with us all around the country and the world, we thank you so much for being a part of Wake Up Call and spending your mornings with us, having some fun, having some laughs, talking some faith, and always having a good time. So many thanks and happy Christmas week. That's right, I said it. Christmas. I said Christmas. It's Christmas. December 25th is what? Christmas. So merry early Christmas, and as of yesterday, happy Hanukkah, as the first day of Hanukkah was Jacksonville's win. So we start off Hanukkah with a Jaguars win, which is pretty awesome in and of itself. So happy Hanukkah, happy and merry Christmas coming up here very, very soon. And all of the holidays that you celebrate. I think Miss Mary told me the celebration of lights as well. So there's a lot of good things coming up here in this holiday season, including Christmas and Hanukkah officially jumping off yesterday. So happy to all of you, whatever you're celebrating, and much love. With that being said, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', we got a jam-packed show for you here today from the Sunshine State. It is a little bit cool down here, but I like it because I get to wear shorts and I get to wear a t-shirt and a sweatshirt. My favorite weather, a little bit cooler than my favorite weather, but the sun is shining, the sky is blue, and it's 50-something, 60, whatever outside today, and I am totally good with that. Why? Because God woke me up this morning, and you don't complain when you get to open those eyes. So happy to be here with you. Much love. Going to have a great show. On the Prowl is going to start things off inside of What's Poppin', and on the Prowl, we are going to speak with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's right, I had conversations with 6 of their players coming out of their overtime victory thriller, 40-34 over the Dallas Cowboys. My Super Bowl. I've always wanted to see Jaguars, Cowboys. That's my Super Bowl. AFC, NFC. I got to see the game yesterday. I was blown away. I wanted it to be a game. I wanted it to be close. I wanted it to be fun. And God gave me a game beyond my wildest dreams. I said going into the game that I thought the teams could get up into the 30s. They did. I said that I thought that I wanted it to be a close game. I believe that they could get up into the 30s, and I wanted to see this come down to the end, and it definitely did. The game was everything I wanted it to be and so much more. I could not thank God enough for helping my flights to work out, because flights have been a little crazy lately from what I've been hearing. So I'm happy that the flight worked out. I'm happy that I was able to get down here, and I am so grateful to be able to see these games and to see this game and to be able to enjoy such an incredible moment in my life. So I cannot thank God enough for it, and I am so happy to talk about it with you. And today we are going to discuss it with so many wonderful guests. I will be joined this morning by many Jaguars players. A linebacker, Foye Oluokun, is going to be joining the show. Wide receiver, Marvin Jones Jr. Right tackle, go Gators, Jawaan Taylor will be joining the show. Wide receiver, also Christian Kirk, will be joining the show wearing my grandfather's number 13. I will also be joined by wide receiver Jamal Agnew, who does some running back work as well. And I'll be joined by that kicker that I covered when he was at Memphis in college. And gosh darn it, really proud of this guy, kicker Riley Patterson. Jacksonville had like 6 different kickers last year, and Riley Patterson's held on this season for the Jaguars. He's done a fantastic job, and he helped to kick them into overtime on a 48-yard boot through the upright. So we'll talk with all of them today on the first hour of the broadcast. Then we'll jump into hour number 2 with PJ, who's currently off camera. I know this is the cool thing about this. It's like being the host of a show and knowing who's backstage. You know, like when Jay Leno would show that backstage camera and whatnot. Well, PJ's backstage. I can see him. You can't. But in hour number 2, you will see him from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time. PJ and I are going to be talking.
What's up?
We're going to be talking about, he's in the green room. We're going to be talking about the Jaguars a little bit more with PJ, and of course we'll get into college football because we know Papa Joe's been watching every single one of those bowl games. He's been watching the Backyard Bowl, the Bebop Bowl, the Juiced Up Bowl. No, I'm just making stuff up now. He's been watching a bunch of different bowl games. He's done his homework on the Central Arkansas and the Western Kentuckys and all that stuff, and he'll be more than ready. So PJ and I will talk college football. We'll talk about his Gators and the really weird matchup they had, which I already mentioned, and then we'll get in earlier in the shows, probably last week I think I said it, and then we'll make sure that we get into more Jacksonville Jaguars talk. And of course I'm wearing my Disney shirt with my favorite Disney character of all time, What Up Dog, because of Pluto. Pluto and Darkwing Duck are my favorite characters. If you're looking to get me something for Christmas, people, send it. Love you. And you could find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. So however you're connecting with us, thank you so much. We'll take a quick step aside for a fast break. When we spin back around, the Jaguars join the broadcast in what I have called for years, On the Prowl. Greg said, good morning, DT. Off topic, but epic World Cup final yesterday, plus one of the craziest finishes ever in the Pats-Raiders game. Shout out to Chandler Jones, Endicott, New York, Tiger Pride. There's a lot of stuff to talk about here, Greg. We'll talk about it right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Stay with us. And we'll see if PJ, normally he'll say something during the commercial break. We'll see if he does or not. We'll be back right after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jim Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacted the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also, I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, as well as, and those are all in Syracuse, as well as on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners for sure in their drive-thru location in North Syracuse, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. So make sure you come out to Cafe Kubal today and support local. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you their way, and fill your cup up right with their amazing goodness. You know that I love their chais, their coffees there as well, and their teas. So many great things at Cafe Kubal, and all of their sweet treats are very good as well. We know PJ's got a sweet tooth, so you got to get yourself over to Cafe Kubal and enjoy that too. So, with that being said, it's time to get into my conversations with the Jaguars. Got a new graphic up for you this time around for On the Prowl, and PJ was going to do a growl for us, but he's going to honk like, you know what I mean? I think I did the one. The Panthers have one, and the Jaguars have one that's pretty intense. But we'll have to get a growl going for you here very soon. But On the Prowl, very excited to bring these to you. You can see the new graphic on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT. The first conversation coming up is with Foye Oluokun. Foye Oluokun, linebacker for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's going to come to you first here as him and I have a conversation about this team and what they were able to do in a big-time game against a big-time opponent. Foye Oluokun joining me here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, to start off our conversations on the Prowl with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we appreciate him for taking some time, and all the Jaguars that have taken some time to be a part of this broadcast on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. So thanks for being here with us as we get into our initial conversation with the Jaguars. Well, Foye, I mean, looking at what this team did, this Jaguars team down 21-7 at the break, coming back and winning 40-34. Just bring me into what the halftime atmosphere was like in the locker room. Maybe something that was said.
We came in off a stop. After that stop, we were able to settle in. We said we can get more stops. Let's just focus one stop at a time. I know our offense, when we get stops, rolls. So let's just focus on that. We drew a couple plays up, so this is how we're going to fit it. Let's go out there and do it. Kept it simple, and they just played physical.
Last time you were home, you went up against the Baltimore Ravens, and were able to take a 1-point victory. This one in overtime, taking it from the Cowboys. Just what you could say about
Black mean business now. Black mean business. What's up?
Just what you could say about the game against the Ravens and the game against the Cowboys here. Just what you've been doing at home at the bank.
That's good to win at home in front of this crowd. They deserve it. Obviously, they've been through a lot. Really, but showing the crowd, it's half Cowboys today. But showing the crowd, whoever shows up, thank you for coming, because we're gonna play our ass off for y'all. Hopefully, more people come now.
When you see that, like you said, half is Cowboys fans, half is Jaguars fans.
It's Shaq's hometown too, so you got to get on him about that.
Just what you could say, about that.
I kind of build energy off of that, kind of hearing them boos and shit. Obviously playing in front of a full crowd is fun. Playing in front of half, it's like, let's make our half louder than theirs. So kind of gives me some energy, like kind of shut them boys up, hype these boys up, and it's fun. To me, it's fun, but I would love to play in front of a full Jacksonville crowd.
And so what do you want to say to the true fans here?
Oh, thank you for showing out. Appreciate y'all the support. I love true support. We're going to keep playing hard for y'all and win more games.
6-8 right now, looking at the fact that the division is still open and obviously the playoff hunt is still alive with a few weeks to go.
Win this next game. Just focus on this Thursday game. Going to be tough on our bodies and our mental, but that's what we're focused on now. We got to flip that switch, maybe go home, sleep a little bit tonight, flip that switch and come back ready to work whatever tomorrow is, Monday.
Why is this team winning these close games that weren't going your way?
Because we lost early. You got to, as a team, you get a whole bunch of new people in there. You got to learn how to win together. You lose early, those are lessons. Those aren't losses all the time. Those are losses if you don't learn from them. Those are lessons. So we learn from it. We start having positive energy in those close games. Know that it's going to come down to a couple plays in the end. Got to make them. And we've seen a lot not go our way. Learn from that in order to make it go our way.
Rayshawn Jenkins, 2 interceptions. The last one, 51 yards to the house. Your thoughts on the defense?
It was great. Jake being there, opportunist, great hand, looked it in. The wherewithal to run, cut off the block by me. But no, it was just good resiliency. They got on us early, keep fighting all the way through the end. It was a muddy game. A lot of their fits and stuff. They did a good job pulling the backer out the box and then run pullers with the one backer in. They had a good scheme for us, but they did stuff. They did a good job pulling the backer and try to make their drives harder.
When the offense doesn't score, getting toward the end of regulation, and you guys make a stop defensively to give one more shot, which ends up being the Riley Patterson field goal. Just what you can say about locking in there and giving the offense one more chance.
It was weird. I felt the energy not there a little bit. So me and a couple other guys, we got 3 timeouts left. If we make a stop here on them 3 downs, 3 and out, offense gonna have another chance. And all we needed was a field goal. So luckily we did it. They threw a pass, which gave us an extra timeout. And then offense gonna do their thing. They got the field goal, and then it was all positive from there.
Lastly, for me, you said a block by you toward the end. What were you seeing once Jenkins got the interception?
I saw 4, and his eyes got big, so I knew he was going to try to make the tackle. And I played fullback back in the day, so I saw him, and I said, let me just go hit him. I hit him, and then I turned around, and Jenkins was gone, so it was cool.
Folks, when he said he saw 4 and he hit him, that was Dak Prescott. That was the one. He said, I saw his eyes get big, and we wanted to go make a play, and he hit him. Foye, if you can't tell, big energy. I love it. I love it. He was in the moment. You can hear the locker room celebrating. At one point, he was yelling out to one of the guys. So great, too, because I've been a part of this locker room, seeing this locker room, being in this locker room, covering this team for, the better part of 12 years. So I've seen a lot of different locker rooms in Jacksonville. And there was a special locker room the year that they almost made it to the Super Bowl a few years ago. But this locker room, I would say, feels even better because you don't have the drama queens and the energy suckers on the team right now. I really, and we're going to talk about that with more of the guys here, but you don't have that side of it anymore, which I think is really, really helpful. So next up here on the broadcast, and I'm not trying to knock anybody, it was just a different energy. Even the year that they almost made the Super Bowl, there was a different energy, and I think this team and this energy is the best that I've seen in 12 years, and I could feel it on my skin right now. I could feel it here. You know how Dino always talks about the hair standing up? I can feel it on my skin. So next up here, Marvin Jones Jr. joining the broadcast on the Prowl in my conversations with the Jacksonville Jaguars coming off of their victory in overtime over the Dallas Cowboys in what I call my Super Bowl. Cowboys-Jaguars playing up against each other, and this game being everything and more that I could ask for. Here's Marvin Jones Jr., somebody who I very much appreciate. I appreciate talking with all these guys, but building these relationships and having these moments, there's really no substitute, and I thank God for it every day. Here's Marvin Jones Jr. on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Well, it seems like keeping up with the Joneses here in Jacksonville, something special. You and Zay, just how you guys have not only locked in this game, but all season.
I mean, it's been great. You know, I think just who we have on our offense, the type of players that we have on offense, we're so confident that each of us are going to make a play. You know, and it's a great thing to have when you have players, when you look across the field and you know at any point any of us can make any play. You know, so I think that's definitely an advantage for us, and just the way that we all work. You know, the way that Zay works, the way that C. Kirk and Evan and everybody works, and makes those plays during the week. You know, that's where it starts. You know, during the week we've repped all the plays that we've made. You know, so it's not foreign to us. But it's just great to have what we have on offense, because you never know who's going to make that big play. But you're rest assured that is going to be one of us.
Well, that's the thing. You, Zay, like you said, Kirk, Evan Engram, Jamal Agnew. I mean, so many guys getting involved in the passing game in this game alone. Just what you could say about how being so multiple really opens this up where nobody can truly key in on one of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. And you definitely see it out there, you know, just because, there's so many of us, there's so many of us and getting in multiple formations and, doing the trick play or doing, whatever. You can't really key on that. You know, you can't really study for that, and I think it's a problem for defensive coordinators. So it's a good thing to have, and we're all happy about it.
You came over from Detroit. What was it about this team that made you want to come here, and what's it been like since you've come here?
Well, I think me and my family moved to Miami, so it was close, and then it was just for something new and to be a part of something new and help the success. So I think that was intriguing to me when I came here. And obviously last year was what it was, but this year is different. It's different from we lost some close games, but we're really finding the groove, and this is definitely the team to do that. So I'm just excited that I'm here and I'm on this team, and we're having these type of results. They're hard fought, but it's good to be on the other side of it, and yeah.
Why are you winning these games now, like the game against Baltimore and the game here against the Cowboys?
Well, I think it starts in practice, and we've always practiced hard. And stuff like that, and I think in the games that we did lose that were close, they just didn't go our way, and that's the NFL. But at the same time, I think in terms of the urgency and the message that at any time we could flip this and turn everything to positives. I think that's all in our heads, and I think we're fighting for something, too. So I think when we have this in our head and we practice like we do, and we're doing everything as urgent as we're doing it, the good stuff always happens. So.
And lastly, for me, last season at the end of the season, I asked you about leadership and where it's coming from, and you said that you consider yourself a leader. Just how you've grown as a leader this year.
Well, I've been doing everything I've always done. I'm a year 11, so I feel like I've been a leader for the past 9 years. So so I just keep doing my thing. Whenever somebody needs something, I'm the one that they could talk to if they need advice. I do that. On the field and off the field. So that's what I love doing. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm there for everybody, and I'll continue to do that.
I love that leadership. I'm there for everybody. If they need that, I'm there. I'm that voice. I love having that from again. It just feels different. The atmosphere in the locker room feels different, and I think it's better than the year they almost made it to the Super Bowl. So very excited for what's to come here, and thanks to Marvin Jones Jr. for being a part of the show. Next up on the broadcast, Jawaan Taylor.
Go Gators.
Here on the broadcast on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Jawaan Taylor joins me next as he has an opportunity to tell his story where he went out in this game due to a hamstring injury, and then late in the game when Cam Robinson was carted off the field starting left tackle, starting right tackle Jawaan Taylor found his way back in from a hamstring injury. And him and I talk about that and so much more, including Walker Little stepping in at left tackle here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, and obviously prayers and well wishes to everybody who's nursing any type of an injury, be it emotional, social, spiritual, economical, whatever's going on with you, including Cam Robinson. Big ups, God bless, and may you heal, may everyone heal completely and for good, and no matter what, through God, and handle well whatever comes their way. Coming up right now, Jawaan Taylor on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Well, just what you could say about it. I know you went out with a hamstring earlier in the game. Just the importance for you to get back on the field.
It was extremely important, man. We had some guys that went down, and it was at a point where we, had to win the game. So I just decided to just wrap it up and get back out there as fast as possible to help my team win.
Has there been a game like this where you put yourself in a position like that, where you've maybe not felt 100%, went out and brought yourself back in?
Most definitely. Playing in the trenches, man, you'll have times where you don't feel your best, and you just got to go, man. So I had to go do everything I had to do for my team to help the team win.
And with Walker Little coming in, just what you could say about how he played when Cam went out?
Well, he did extremely well. He stepped up to the plate, and he went out there and helped the team win, man, and that's all that matters. He went out there and did his thing, man. I'm happy for him.
Down 21-7 at the half, surging back and winning this game. Just what you could say about maybe what the message was at halftime or what it was like in the locker room at halftime?
Just keep going, man. It's a four-quarter fight, and that's what Coach Peterson taught us this whole week. It's going to be a four-quarter battle. It's not going to be easy, and you just got to keep fighting and play to the end. So that's what we did, and we came out victorious.
This team is 6-8. You're still in the playoff hunt, still in the hunt for the AFC South title. Right. Those games that you were close in but not winning at the beginning of the season, why are these coming through in your favor? What's the difference?
Basically, we just had to find a way to win, and once we found that way to win, now I feel like we're just trying to find a way to just keep winning. So it's all about consistency in this league, and we've just been finding those ways at the end of the game to win, and even if we're down at half, we're just finding a way to come back and win. So it's just being consistent with it now.
Rayshawn Jenkins, just what you could tell me about that final sudden death, any score is going to win, and that interception, watching that from the sidelines.
Oh, man, it was amazing. So at first I couldn't even see the play because I was, doing my stuff on the sideline, and I just looked, and I heard the crowd cheering, and I seen him running down the sideline and score, man, and I was just extremely happy. And, he made a play when his number was called, and when he was there, he made a play and scored a touchdown and won us the game. So it was exciting, very exciting.
With a team that's already got 10 wins that could have clinched a playoff berth today with a victory over you, how important was it to make a statement to the NFL against a team like Cowboys?
Just don't sleep on the Jaguars, man. We may have not started the season off like we wanted to, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to finish, man. So that's what our whole purpose is right now and our whole point. And, just trying to keep going and get us some wins every week.
That coming from Jawaan Taylor. I love how these guys are locked in. They're excited for the win. They're happy for the win, but they're like, listen, we got games. We have more to go. Again, this locker room is just different. It's different now. And I love the difference of this locker room. It's just about we have to do things differently. If you want a different result, you have to be different, right? doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result is insanity. And this Jaguars team with Doug Peterson, I said it when he came in. I was like, I think I'm going to like this guy's personality. I feel like he just looks like somebody who, sits under a Christmas tree and his nieces and nephews play with him. A different type of guy. And I'm happy that he's here. I'm happy that the Jaguars are winning. I'm happy that the staff and the players feel good and they're doing well. And I'm happy that they're locked in. And speaking of locked in, who's this guy that should be locked into your fantasy football? Christian freaking Kirk. They paid that guy a lot of money. And I said to myself, I like Christian Kirk. I wanted Larry Fitzgerald to pass the torch to him in Arizona. But what do they say? Sometimes God's best answers are unanswered prayers. Sometimes things don't work out because other things are supposed to work out in their place. Or something better is coming along, right? So with Christian Kirk, sometimes things don't work out, Arizona passing the torch, because he was meant to come to Jacksonville. Now, they paid him a lot of money, but Christian Kirk's done some good things this season. And he's involved in a wide receiving core that I think is getting more and more dangerous as time goes on, because you can't key in on anybody without Trevor Lawrence taking advantage of that somewhere else in the field. Christian Kirk, up next on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, wearing what number? Well, I'm happy that you asked. The number of my grandfather, Papa Cavino, number 13. That number 13 that shows up with my number 21 all the time. Christian Kirk here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Not for the first time. Always appreciate having Christian on. This is what he had to say. Well, you and I have talked about it this season, just closing those games out, and you had a lot of close games in the beginning, and now you've had some pretty incredible games, especially the last couple here against the Ravens, 1-point victory, and this one in overtime against the Cowboys. What's been the difference that you guys are getting on the right side of it now?
I think it's just, confidence, and, when you look back and you lose the close ones early, it sucks, and it hurts a lot, in the moment. But when you get later on in the season, when you get into moments like this and situations that have already arisen earlier in your season, you have all the confidence in the world that, hey, we're going to come back. We've been here before, 2-minute drive to go win the game, done it before, so nobody has a single doubt of mind, during that time, and nobody blinks, and we just go out there and do what we're supposed to do.
Trust. Why do you guys trust each other so much on this team? Because to run the drives that you've run, especially in this game being down 21-7 at half, there's a lot of trust out there between Trevor and the receiving core and obviously the offensive line, running backs. Everybody on the offense seems to lock in a way that I haven't seen here every year.
I think it starts, number one, back in training camp. It's 107 degrees and 90% humidity, and you're on your fourth day of full pads, and the coaching staff does a great job of no matter what the conditions are, and this goes for training camp, practice, Saturday walkthrough, the game, of holding everybody to the standard and the details of what we're trying to do offensively and schematically. And there's no gray area. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do, and there's specific details of where you're supposed to be numbers wise and split and your job. And so I think they do a great job, and everybody knows the expectation of what everybody's supposed to do on every single play.
Travis Etienne goes down, he comes back. Jawaan Taylor goes down, he comes back. Just what you could say about guys even playing through those injuries, wanted to be on the field in overtime at the end of this game.
These are must-win games, and we set the precedent from the beginning that we're going to lay it all on the line, whatever it takes to get a win. We're going to do it, and so it just shows the toughness, of guys, in this locker room, and really giving it their all, for the teammates.
What do people not know about the Jaguars that from the inside out?
There's no quit. We could have packed it away when we went 0-5 in October, and just said, all right, we'll keep building building, and hopefully, we'll get a couple wins along the way. But our goals and our visions didn't change. We knew the type of team that we were, and we believe we love one another, and this is the closest locker room I've ever been in. Everybody comes to work, loves one another, and wants to work to make this thing go.
When you have a receiving core with yourself, Marvin Jones, Zay Jones, Jamal Agnew, Evan Engram, it doesn't seem like any defense can really key in on any one of you because, especially in a game like this, you all got involved in some key part of the game. Just what you can say about having so many different weapons and knowing that Trevor was able to really let you all shine today.
Yeah, we all know that Trevor's going to give us opportunities to go make plays, and that's why we're all here. But everybody's so unselfish. Nobody's unhappy with their involvement. Everybody just wants to win, and I think that's the key. It's when you get guys that are worried about themselves individually. I think that's when you see a little bit of hiccup of having this much talent on the offensive side of the ball. But everybody is bought into what we're trying to do, and at the end of the day, it just wants to win football games.
Special teams doesn't get a lot of love, but without Riley Patterson's 48-yarder, there is no overtime. Just what you could say about Riley and what he's done on the team this year.
Yeah, I mean, the most vivid memory for me is how upset he was after Kansas City of missing a couple kicks, and just being able to tell him, like, hey man, this is a long season. And I said it today, and there were so many different situations. One play doesn't lose a football game. I mean, I guess if it's the last play of the game and something bad happens, then maybe, but one play throughout the game doesn't lose a football game. And so I told him he's going to get another opportunity. It may be last week, it could have been 4 weeks ago, but today his number was called upon, and he rose to the occasion and got us into overtime.
You call this the best locker room that you've been in. What is it about Coach Peterson and all of these guys and the coaching staff that makes this the best fit for you?
I think the type of person that they brought into this locker room. Everybody's such a high character guy. That comes in, works hard, and is bought into the common goal and the reason why we're here, and that's to play championship football. Everybody believes that, and everybody's bought in. So when you have good character guys, high character guys, that love one another, and we're all here for one common vision, it's pretty easy to get along and play for one another.
You're on the sideline, Rayshawn Jenkins, that final play, the 51-yard interception return. Just what was going through your mind when you saw him get that ball?
I think my mind went blank, to be honest with you. I couldn't believe what just happened. I just kind of stood there. I look back after the Ravens game, I was jumping around and whatnot, and this one I was just like, what just happened, and because it changes so quick, and that's a great thing about football, and that's why we play the sport.
It changes around so quick, and that's why we love football, and that's why we play this sport. Jaguars 6-8, and folks, they are very much in the running right now for the AFC South title and, wait for it, the playoffs themselves. Oh. Because if you win your division, not only do you get in the playoffs, but you get to host a playoff game. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, with 3 games to go, are not out of this thing, not even a little bit. And with the Chargers taking down the Titans have 7 wins. The Jaguars, 6. Jaguars in second place behind the Titans in the AFC South, folks. And that tiebreaker between the Titans and the Jaguars, owned by the Jaguars right now. And if the Jaguars, their final home game, they play 2 road games, their final home game is against the Titans. If they were to beat the Titans, they would have the outright tiebreaker between them with a 2-0 record. Wouldn't it be interesting if it came all the way down to the last week of the season with Jaguars-Titans in Jacksonville? Maybe Foye Oluokun will get what he wants and have 69,000 people in the stadium, but not wearing different jerseys, all wearing Jaguars teal. He gets a full stadium full of Jaguars, and they get to play for a right to win the division and get in the playoffs on the last week of the season. Wouldn't that be great? Tennessee, 7-7. Jaguars, 6-8. And the division is still up for grabs. Coming up next here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of our On the Prowl specials, I get to feature another one that I am I love all my Jaguars. Jamal Agnew, man, this guy's worked hard. He came over from the Detroit Lions with Marvin Jones Jr. He's been a return specialist. He'll go out there and play running back for you, play receiver. He came up big in the first half of this game with some runs, designed runs to help this team move the ball forward. Jamal Agnew is moving us forward here on the Prowl on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios as I get to celebrate the Jacksonville Jaguars win with you, which has kept them in the playoff picture and kept them heading toward that AFC title. Jamal Agnew with the Jacksonville Jaguars here on the Prowl on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life.
Well, you and I spoke earlier in the season about getting involved in the offense, and today you had a bunch of different plays that helped set up opportunities. Just what you could say about your role and just what it was like for you today in this one.
I mean, it's just making the most out of the opportunities I get. I mean, obviously I'm a wide receiver by trade, but, you know, Coach Phil, who, you know, schemes up the run game, he throws a little wrinkles in there for me. So, you know, just, you know, being successful on those plays kind of opens up everything else for everybody. You know, so I love getting the opportunity to make plays. It wasn't just me out there. You know, those guys are blocking their butts off. You see Kirk, you know, our number one receiver right back downfield, blocking two people dang near. So, I mean, just whenever I get those opportunities, I try to make the most of them.
And you're bringing up blocking wide receivers, guys that aren't just looking for all the accolades of touchdowns and whatnot, but to actually make blocks for each other. Just what that says about this team.
I mean, they've been doing it all year. We've been doing it all year. You see Kirk, Marv, and Zay. You know, they're at the point of attack on a lot of these run plays. You know, these sweeps we do. So, you know, we probably got the most unselfish group of receivers that, you know, I've ever seen or been a part of. You know, you got our number 1, 2, and 3 wide receivers willing to stick their head in there and block for the run game. It just says a lot about this team, and just like the unselfishness of them.
You've had success running the ball, as you said, creating some wrinkles and whatnot. Travis Etienne has as well, and Jermichael Hasty. Just what you could say about what that backfield looks like with you involved.
We just got, you know, we all got different skill sets, you know. Obviously, I'm the speed. You know, Travis and Hasty can run too, but, you know, they're a little bit better. I mean, more equipped to run through between the tackles. But, I mean, we all got different skill sets, and, you know, we just make plays. We're just playmakers back there.
This team at halftime down 21-7 could have packed it up. You didn't. What was it about the halftime message, or just what was going through your guys' head? Because there was some type of collective mission coming out of the break.
We've been there before. I mean, we were there 4 weeks ago against Vegas here. We were there against. Who were we down against? Came back with Baltimore. We were down against Baltimore too. So it's just like we were down early in the season. That's one thing we got better at. You know, early in the season we would be down and we wouldn't finish. I feel like as the season went along, we just got better at finishing, and that was through trial and error. So we came in here like we're down 14, but we've been here before, and nobody, even when we turned the ball over in the fourth quarter, like we got plenty of time. We got our timeouts. Defense got to stop. We got the ball back, kicked the field goal, and then the rest is history.
What can you say about some of those things, like you said, the mistakes that happen and the fumbles in this game and whatnot, being able to make up for those because things happen in games?
Yeah, you just got to keep next play mentality. I mean, that stuff's going to happen. Obviously, you don't want it to happen. We got to clean up some ball security things. I had a couple loose balls out there, so but that stuff's going to happen. It's just not riding that roller coaster of emotions, not getting too high, not getting too low, just staying even keeled and just focusing on the next play.
6-8 right now. Playoffs are still alive. AFC South title is still alive. Just what that says with a few weeks to go for you guys.
We focus on this. We got a short week, so we got a Jets team who is not playing as well. They were in the beginning of the season, but they're still a really good team. And we're on a short week, so we gotta put this one to bed, and we got a big game, prime time. So we're pretty excited for that one.
And coming off of this one, as you head into that short week, Rayshawn Jenkins, you're on the sideline, you're watching it. Bring me into the play through your eyes.
I mean, it's crazy because I was standing next to Dewey Wingard, and I was like, bro, we're about to get a turnover right here. And my mentality was like, if we don't get a turnover, they're gonna get a stop, they're gonna punt to me, and I'm gonna hit the walk off. But Jay's got the pick, and I thought he was out of bounds. I thought they were just running. How when you get a pick, you run all the way to the end zone. Yeah. And he kept running. I heard the crowd going crazy, so that's when I looked at the board, and I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. That's probably the craziest game I've ever been a part of. saying that. I actually said that after Baltimore, which is crazy. So that's 3 weeks ago, and we just played another crazy ass game. So, man. It's crazy. It's still surreal right now, to be honest.
Well, and you said it, and right before that play happened, I said it's going to be a fumble, and it ended up being an interception.
Yeah.
What made you feel like, because you and I were feeling the same thing, why did you think a turnover was going to happen there?
Because they had just been playing so well in the second half. You know, we're getting big stops for us. You know, Jenks obviously had that pick earlier I think it was like end of the third quarter. They were just, I could just see it in their eyes on the sideline. Like, they're like, let's go offense. Like, we got y'all. Like, and that's how it was. Like, when they got that turnover early, we're like, we got y'all. We're going to go put some points on the board. You know, we're just playing complimentary football. You know, that was one of the best kick returners in the league in Turpin. And, you know, our coverage unit, other than one of those kicks, you know, they covered their butts off. So, you know, we played well on all three phases. So that's something we got to keep doing going forward.
Playing well in all three phases of the game. Got to keep doing that moving forward. Speaking of the three phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams, the one that doesn't get nearly as much love, special teams, is about to get some love here on today's broadcast, as it always does, and that is with Riley Patterson. Coming from Memphis, I covered the Memphis Tigers while he was there, continue to cover the Memphis Tigers, and now Riley Patterson and I have the opportunity to have a conversation here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Can't thank Riley enough for the work that he's done and how he has progressed forward with this Jacksonville Jaguars team. Somebody who cannot be understated and should not be understated. And obviously when it comes to the way players play the game and the way they do what they do, we can't understate these things. So Riley Patterson, appreciate him so very much here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and beyond. And thank you all for tuning in and being a part of the show. We're going to hear from Riley on the Prowl right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. So big thanks and big ups to Riley Patterson. He'll be joining us right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as we are here in the Sunshine State in the Lando Lagoon, hanging out with you, where sports meets that thing called life. And we cannot wait that in hour number 2, PJ is going to be joining us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we look forward to the conversation that will ensue from that. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicolis.com. Going. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com. canine.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And then them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life, and I am ecstatic to be on the prowl with the Jacksonville Jaguars this morning, following a fantastic finish against the Dallas Cowboys. Like I told you folks going into this game, this was my Super Bowl. Cowboys, Jaguars. Loved being at this game. Means so very much to me. Why is it my Super Bowl? Well, because I grew up knowing the Cowboys thanks to my buddy James. Knew pretty much the whole team, and just, from talking about it with him. And then the Jaguars, I wanted my own team. They came out in 95, same year as my Toronto Raptors. Became a Jaguars fan from the jump and never lost love for the Cowboys. So Jaguars my first team, Cowboys my second, hence my Super Bowl. Wanted this game to be close, wanted it to be good, knew no matter who won, the game was still going to be great to see. And seeing the Jaguars win and the way that they did was really incredible, amazing, stupendous, just a wonderful, like I said, going into it, an early Christmas gift for myself. And God helped me get to the game. God helped everything to work out. I don't know how we can go through life not saying thank you to God. I didn't do all this myself, and I didn't do half of it myself. I work hard. I believe in myself, and, I do what I love, and I love what I do. But without God, none of this is possible. Without God's little miracles, big miracles, this doesn't happen. These things don't just happen. And I feel the need to say that because I think we're in a society where we thank ourselves for a lot. And I know that without God, I wouldn't even be here. So literally, so in many ways, very, very thankful to God and thankful to prayers being answered and things working out, and just hoping that they've worked out for everybody. And they have, and I hope they will soon. You know, they say God has 3 answers to prayers. Yes, not yet, and no, because I have something better planned for you. And when God says not yet to me, I know I've gotten frustrated in the past, but there's a reason for it. And it's because there's somewhere else he wants you to direct your attention. There's something else going on that I feel like he needs you to address and connect with. And so when God says not yet, I think it's because there's something else being worked on that he wants you to focus on. And then, you know, or whatever it may be. I'm not God. I don't know all the answers. But and then I have something better planned for you. I mean, that's true. It's very true. So I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I'm so happy that the Jaguars play the Cowboys ever. I'm happy I got to be here for it. I'm happy I got to see the game I saw and see the win I saw in 40-34 overtime, and to know that both of my teams have a shot to make the playoffs. So some awesome things going on here with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and obviously some good things going on with the Dallas Cowboys as well. So with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, it's time to get to our final piece on the Prowl inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. And we get to, before we pop over to Papa Joe, we have Riley Patterson, who's joining us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. As you heard from Jamal Agnew, he said we just have to play well we got to get better in all 3 phases of the game. People talk about offense, they talk about defense. Rarely, unless there's a mistake made or a missed field goal or a botched punt, do we ever hear, or a kick return or a punt return for a touchdown. Unless there's one of those big old plays, you rarely ever hear of special teams. And I'm here on Wake Up Call to change that, because I believe people like Riley Patterson and the special teams unit need to be discussed more. Because, yes, Rayshon Jenkins had the interception return for a touchdown. But without a 48-yard boot through the uprights, there is no overtime. So Riley Patterson and special teams deserve some credit in this game, and they deserve some credit in a lot of games. And my mistake on this, when I spoke with Riley, I thought the first time he kicked the ball where Dallas called a timeout, I thought that the ball was a little bit short because it went low. But I was talking after the fact that it went through. But we'll discuss with Riley Patterson the opportunity that he had not once but twice to send the team to overtime.
So bring me into that. Right at the end of regulation, you got an opportunity to go to overtime, and the kick comes out a little bit short, and they call timeout, so you get a second chance. What were you seeing the first time you kicked it that you adjusted in the second?
I wouldn't say I adjusted. I scuffed my foot. I didn't hit very well. I think it still went in, but, I mean, I wouldn't too worried about it. I heard the whistle right before, so I'm just like, oh, well, still swing at it. That was good. Sir.
Great job.
Thank you. That was fun. And so the next one, I started feeling like a little bit of a right to left wind, but I had already kind of picked my line, and it was going to be right down the middle. So I'm just like, all right, I'm going to swing hard, rip at it. And if you hit it pure, it's not from like 58. So if you hit it pure, it should be pretty good. And we did. It started fading, but it was good.
I was talking with Christian Kirk, and I asked him about you because special teams doesn't get enough love. And he said after the Kansas City game, you were just really, really hard on yourself. Just what you could say about growing this season and coming up huge, because you've had a lot of great moments with the Jaguars so far.
Yeah, it's I've been very, very blessed to get this opportunity to play here with a lot of really cool guys, and Logan Ross especially have been really, really kind to me. Heath, Luke, Coach Peterson, everyone's been great. So I've been blessed that even when I've had some hiccups, I haven't played great. Even in practice, they've really continued to rally around me, and that goes miles. A team that they're not pointing fingers at each other, and they're just working on their own stuff to make sure when time comes, they're needed. And it's really been a blessing. I couldn't be more thankful for the guys in this locker room, because it's a big part of their attitude toward me.
You guys as a team win in overtime, but without your kick, there is no overtime. So I know that you kind of assess yourself and take a look back at everything, but do you let yourself enjoy this and obviously get excited about the fact that you helped to create the opportunity that Jenkins ended up taking to the end zone?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's just one play, like in a lot of plays, but some are amplified in games, especially for a kicker. So I try to think about it too much, but yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, this is stuff you dream about. Playing in the NFL, making big kicks, and big games like this at the end of the season, because these games are really, really important coming down the stretch. So it's really cool to get a winning kick or not a winning kick, but a big kick like that. And you can make kicks like it, but it's good to actually see it happen and come to fruition. And God is good for giving me opportunities like that, and I'm just so appreciative of the guys in this team, and most importantly, him.
I'm going to say for me, 6-8 on the season, AFC South title is still alive, playoff picture is still alive as well, with a few games to go. Just what that means and where you feel like this team is at right now.
I feel like we're in a great spot, man. I know, our record, isn't the best right now, but the way we see it is everything's still in front of us, working hard, and I feel like we're only on the come up, and it seems like it's my second year. Who knows what I know? But it seems like the best teams kind of peak at the end, and right now we're peaking, it seems. So I say we just keep it rolling and, not think too much, just keep going.
The best teams peak at the end, and I think we should just keep it rolling and keep it going because we seem to be peaking. Well, they have a road here to the playoffs, and Jacksonville is in control of their destiny, folks. They're 7-7, the Titans are 7-7, the Jaguars are 6-8. Now, they're in control of their destiny to a certain extent. If they control their destiny, because you look at it like this, if the Titans were to win their next 3 games, they go 10-7. But the last game that they have of the regular season is against the Jaguars. So if the Jaguars win out, they would be 9-8. And the Titans, if they win their next 2 games and lose to the Jaguars, they would be 9-8. But if they lose to the Jaguars twice, 9-8, 9-8, Jaguars own the tiebreaker 2-0 against the Titans. So the Jaguars do control their destiny. They win the next 3 games, no matter what the Titans do. If the Jaguars win the next 3 games, because the last one is against the Titans, they will win the division of the AFC South, and they will go to the playoffs, and they will host a playoff game in the 2022-23 season. That's reality. Because even if the Titans win their next 2, they'll be 9-7, and if the Jaguars win their next 2, they will be 8-8. But if the Jaguars are to beat the Titans in the final week, both teams will be 9-8, like I said. So the Jaguars control their destiny no matter what the Titans do in the next 2 games. Now, if the Titans trip up and lose 1 or 2 of those games, and the Jaguars are able to win the next couple, and let's say the Titans are coming into that game kind of hobbled here. Now, if they win 1 of them and they go into the game at 8-8, then you're still looking at a chance for the Titans to win it. So basically, Jacksonville has to win out, and no matter what the Titans do in the next 2 weeks, if the Jaguars win out, they have the division, and they have a spot in the playoff, and they have a home playoff game. So win and you're in. Control your destiny. Isn't that a great thing to have this late in the season, 15 weeks in, to know that you have control over your own destiny? That is a beautiful thing. Now, we're not even talking about wild card. We're talking about to beat the Titans and win the division. That's what the Jaguars have. That's what they should be looking at. Win and you're in. So, thanks to Riley Patterson. Thanks to, as well, Marvin Jones Jr., Jamal Agnew, Christian Kirk, Foye Oluokun, and Jawaan Taylor.
Go Gators.
As we will take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. After this fast break, Papa Joe will be joining us to give his thoughts on those Jaguars, and we'll be talking about college football because PJ, he's got a bowl season hat, a bowl season sweatshirt, he's got a bowl season scarf. He's watching all 42 games, PJ is, because he is a bowl fanatic. We'll get into it right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. That's called sarcasm, folks, if nobody taught you. We'll tell right after this on inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. I laughed so hard I had a little tear come out. We'll be back right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you as always for being with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time as we are firmly inside of Christmas week. And we got PJ, and we gotta help you out there. We got light PJ right now, but here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So let's get Papa Joe looking good, feeling good in here. PJ, how are you?
Good morning, Daniel. Fine, everything's fine. I'm glad to have you for the holiday here.
Yeah.
Good game, a lot of fun, a lot of good football this weekend. My goodness, it wasn't college either.
And so how many bowl games did you watch?
None.
I can't get over that. I really can't.
No,
none. Not a single one.
No.
You didn't watch the Bahamas
I didn't
Bowl?
watch the Gators.
You didn't watch the Go Gators Bowl?
I did
the
not.
6-6. Let's give you a bowl game.
Oh, jeez. They shouldn't have even been in a bowl.
See, but here's my issue, and it was my issue going into the bowl game, and I mentioned it already. Why would you take a 6-6 Gators team and put them up against a 9-3 Oregon State team who is ranked 14th in the nation?
Because they think that the SEC can win everything. They can't win everything. And a 6-6 SEC team is still a mediocre team. So now the Gators are 6-7.
Yeah.
They're limping into the offseason. They got to sign their number 11 recruiting class. And now Napier's got to go to work. He's got a lot of problems.
Yeah.
He has a lot of problems on, I don't know how many sides of the ball, but I think defense is going to be much better. Although there was a bright spot there with the Miller kid that's coming in, going to be a graduate transferred. And he started the bowl game. I mean, he wasn't even in town for 5 minutes. It wasn't fun. I watched the first series and understood that Oregon State had a better front seven or whatever you want to call it. It just wasn't meant to be, and I'm very upset about it. But what are you going to do? I watched good college pro football this weekend. I had an absolute blast. I just watched the Colts and the Vikings. What a game that was. Coming back from the largest deficit in history.
Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins just is, boy, when he's on, he is a radar.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss anything. outside, inside, up the middle, everywhere. He's got all sorts of throws. He's truly a really, really good quarterback, and he proved it. And then you got the Dolphins and the Bills. I mean, Josh Allen, what can you say about Josh Allen? He just rumbles and stumbles and bumbles along, like the Boomer would say. He's just a superior athlete, too. I thought that Tua acquitted himself pretty well in probably zero weather, and I'm not sure if fancy-looking name from Hawaii can play in the cold, but he did. There's just some great games, and of course our game yesterday was just. I watched the Chiefs and the Texans a little bit too. I was slipping back and forth, and the Chiefs just just dominant. So anyway, the Jaguars look like the second coming of the Green Bay Packers. I mean, geez, Trevor Lawrence is grown up. I think we've seen that.
Yeah.
He's almost at the end of his second year. He's got all the throws. We know that. He made a couple of bobbles yesterday. The interception he threw he shouldn't have thrown it. He knows that. I think as soon as he threw the ball, he turned his head sideways. He knew that was going to be a bad one. And then when he tried to run with the football, trying to break the pocket,
yeah.
I mean, it was a busted play. And he should have just got down on the ground instead of trying to gain the extra yards. Trevor, you're 6'6" and 220 pounds, but you are not a running back. You're a quarterback. Please, general managers, will you listen to the GOSO? You can't keep putting these kids at risk like this. Now, suppose Trevor Lawrence, as it was, lost the ball. He felt bad about that. Suppose he twisted his knee or something like that on a play like that. I know it wasn't a designed run. There's very few quarterbacks in the league that now have a designed run.
Yeah.
Hopefully that the coaches are thinking a little bit about it. And until you see running backs, maybe split ends and things like that running the ball, these kids are going to continue to get hurt. I hate to keep ranting on this all the time, but I truly believe it, and it's not the part of the game I want to see. Patrick Mahomes will not run the ball a design play unless it's a quarterback sneak in the 1 yard line. That's a design play. But he's not going to run 10 yards down the field. He'll scramble, he'll make plays, he'll juke and jick and everything else is what he does, and he'll scramble for 5 or 6 yards. That's the way he plays, and that's the way that most of the quarterback should be playing. They don't need to be designed runs. And Trevor Lawrence just he knows he made a few bobbles, but that's okay. The kids came back, and on the strength of a unbelievable effort by Jenkins. I mean, what's his name?
Rayshon Jenkins.
Jenkins. Jeez.
Number 2.
What a
number 2 with 2 interceptions.
Oh, I don't think I've seen a defensive game like that from individual defensive game in years. I haven't seen anyone as dominant as that. I mean, he was all over the place. He was making tackles, knocking down passes, intercepting passes, scoring touchdowns. I mean, Mary and I were going
watching this game and seeing what what the Jaguars did on defense. I've been saying it for weeks. At the beginning of the season, there was I thought and I was hoping at the beginning of the year that we would see consistency in the defense because the defense was good. And there were games where I was like, oh, okay, the defense played well here, they played well here, they look good, they look better. They're reminding me of that year that they almost went to the Super Bowl. And so to me, there was some good in that, right? There was some good in seeing their moves forward. And I thought, okay, this is something that they can have this season. And then things started going a little bit off the rails and losing a bunch of games in October. Mm-hmm. And then now the defense, and I said it, I was like, it looks like the defense is getting better. The defense that I saw do some good things at the beginning of the season, they've started to come back here in the later part of the season, middle part of the season. And you're seeing what you saw in that game. That's I mean, they played lights out and they played an incredible defensive game. But this defense has shown signs of strength throughout the year. It just wasn't consistent. So when you mention, I don't know if I've seen a better defensive performance in a long time, I think the defense, the best thing that could be happening for Jacksonville right now is that I knew the defense had talent, but now the defense has consistently good days with that talent, and I think that's what we're seeing the difference with a team that's playing their best football late, is that the defense isn't having one good game and then 3 games where they don't. They're having good games back to back or every 2 out of 3 or whatever it may be. They're more good on defense than they're not good on defense.
They do have to play better out of town. I mean,
they do.
We could forget about the Detroit game a couple.
That's why I said it was good, but it wasn't, because you beat Baltimore, you get murdered by Detroit, and you come back and beat you beat 2 really good teams, and then you beat a little bit over mediocre team.
Well, Detroit. No one wants to play Detroit right now either. Detroit is hitting on all cylinders too.
Yeah, they're getting better for sure.
Trevor Lawrence is maturing before our eyes, and we've seen that. We've noted it through the year. He is almost to where Joe Burrow is, and Joe Burrow in his 3rd year. Joe Burrow in the first half of the game versus the Buccaneers didn't have a clue what was happening. Nothing was working for him. Nothing was working for the offensive coordinator. The defense couldn't do anything right. It was miserable. Brady was having a ball. Well, Joe Burrow comes back in the second half just like a Tom Brady would and absolutely blitzes Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Just absolutely blitzed them. And everything he did was right as opposed to what happened in the first half, which was wrong. So I want Trevor Lawrence to be where Joe Burrow is now. He's closing the gap. Trevor Lawrence is a very, very good football player. And I think that Patterson saw this when he took over this team, and he says, damn, he says, I can mold this team around this kid. If I can come up with a defense, I think we can score some points.
Yeah.
Damn, they can score some. This kid's got an arm like a rifle. I mean, he can throw 20 yards on a dime. It's very difficult to do that. I mean, Hebert can do it, and of course Josh Allen can do it. Patrick Mahomes can do it. But these guys could throw the ball on a dime like that. It's a pleasure to watch. And fortunately, this guy's on our team.
Yeah, you and I said going into year number 2, we weren't worried about Trevor. We thought that he would have an uptick year, a progressive year, moving onward and upward. I wasn't worried about it at all. I responded to a comment here live in the broadcast. If you'd like to comment and you'd like to let us know you're watching and listening wherever you are in the world, youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com, all /wakeupcalldt, have their own live feeds where you can comment in it. So just make sure you join, follow, do all the things you got to do. If you follow us on MixLR, YouTube, or subscribe to YouTube, follow us on MixLR, follow us on Facebook, you can comment in the sections and know when the shows are going live and whatnot. So we appreciate you, for those of you that have done that. I wasn't worried about Trevor this year. I said repeatedly, and I'm not saying that he's Peyton Manning. I'm not making that connection yet. I mean, obviously Peyton's won multiple Super Bowls. But Peyton Manning came into the league, and the team didn't win much with the Colts. I think they had like 1 win. He threw a ton of interceptions. And you look at last year for Jacksonville, had better than 1 win, but threw a ton of interceptions, Trevor Lawrence and whatnot. He didn't have a horrific season, but he's a rookie. And even the best NFL quarterbacks, historically, they struggle when they make that jump from college to pro. I would think if a guy makes a jump from college to pro and he's great right off the bat, he's an enigma, right? There's not many of them that can do something like that. You look at Pat Mahomes and some of these guys that could do what they do. I mean, Tua's gotten better over time. Peyton Manning got better over time. You look at a guy like Trevor Lawrence has gotten better over time. There's guys that don't just come out and do it. Justin Fields is getting into his own, even though the Bears are struggling. And Jalen Hurts needed some time to get out there and get acclimated and whatnot. And what he would have been if he had started right away is left to be seen, because he didn't. But guys have growing pains. And I think even the number 1 picks, like a Peyton Manning or a Trevor Lawrence, have growing pains, and people need to understand that. Hence why you and I weren't worried based on the talent level and the fact you got a 6'6" Trevor Lawrence standing there under center. We weren't worried about his year 2 like some other people were.
No. It's unfair to label these quarterbacks Super Bowl quarterbacks, because, frankly, you're not going to win the Super Bowl without a Class A quarterback. I mean, that's been proven over the years.
Yeah.
You have to have a quarterback, an Aaron
and a really
Rodgers.
good line too.
Yep.
Because Joe Burrow, how good is he? And his offensive line couldn't protect him.
Oh, they killed him again yesterday. But he's a tough kid, and you have to have a good quarterback to even play in the Super Bowl. And if you win one like Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes or whatever, it's fun to watch. And I think we're probably a couple years away from that if Patterson can hold things together. I think he's got to hold his defense together. Some defensive line looked like it's with the two kids coming off the end like that. They're tough to. They're tough.
Hard and Key.
Yes.
Keying in on the quarterback. Pun fully intended on that one.
Yes.
He played very, very well. So, there's been some really good pieces of this Jaguars team, and I talk about in the past how they drafted. It really showed kind of, and whether they admitted it or not, kind of an admittance of not drafting well when they almost made it to the Super Bowl, went to the AFC Championship against the Patriots, the game I was at in Foxborough. And in that game, they didn't have any of the players they had drafted over a 6-year span. They had like 40-some-odd players weren't on the team anymore, which to me was like none of these guys helped us get to the Super Bowl. Well, this year it's different. The 2022 draft picks, Trayvon Walker, the number 1 overall pick, has had some positive play this year. 27th pick overall in the first round when they traded back into it. Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah, has done some good things. Luke Fortner at center out of Kentucky in the 3rd round, first pick of the 3rd round. He's played on the offensive line this year. And Chad Mumba's had himself some games out of Wyoming, 3rd round, 6th overall inside linebacker. So of their draft picks, their first 4 picks that they made in the 2022 NFL draft have already paid off this season.
Very good. Very good point. Some really good football players on the team, and hopefully they can stay healthy and come back.
Yeah, so the Jacksonville Jaguars, big-time game. Greg said, I think it really shines a light regarding how important quality NFL coaching is regarding quarterback development and playing. Jags did not have that last year. And somebody else, I think, said that in the booth yesterday. They said, you can't blame Trevor Lawrence for having Urban Meyer as his coach.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, geez. I'll bet Urban tried to recruit the guy, too, in 8th grade. Well, yeah. Urban the liar Meyer. Keep going, Urban. Well, I don't even know what he's doing now. What is he doing now?
He is broadcasting because it's been proven that if extramarital affairs, you can still be president. You could broadcast. You could coach again. People don't seem to care. They care in the moment if you're doing some marital nasty, but then it goes away. Because I'm watching a game, I'm watching a college preview game, and here's Urban Meyer talking, and I was like, who allowed this to happen? And not that you ever wish bad on anybody, but I'm sitting here going like, why would you listen to this man talk about football when he cared more about getting a nice little dance at it? And the thing is, you go to your restaurant in Ohio where people are going to be looking at you. I mean, if you're going to be a dirty old man, I guess you should probably do it not in your own restaurant.
Right. Go out of town somewhere.
Go to South Dakota.
Right. South.
Go to Montana.
Right.
Go look for Rip. So.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have Miss Mary T off the air. We want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas on behalf of Miss Mary T. and her amazing festivities and awesome cookies and fudge that she presented to us last night.
That's true.
While we were watching Yellowstone,
yes,
and a preview to 1923, which looks good. With any show that starts off with Helen Mirren shooting somebody is going to be a good show.
That's true. That's true. Harrison Ford. Boy, that's going to be nice. But Rip, don't make me call Rip. I got a sweatshirt that says it.
We love you. We'll talk with you soon, Miss Mary.
Right.
Looking good in the leather jacket.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, but I mean, I got to ask you this while we're on Yellowstone here. Do you think that they should start processing the meat, or do you think they should go across the country with these cattle?
That's a tough one.
I feel like doing that is a pretty stupid move. It's going to cost them a lot of money. Somebody could die in this thing. And I feel like the whole point of them taking this trip is to give them something potentially to write about, because they're probably going to meet in with some other Cowboys on the way.
Probably. Dutton is not a businessman. Beth is the business lady.
Yeah.
And she's the one to keep bringing these things to his attention over the last several years. And he's falling back on some old ways of doing business, and some of these ways aren't even being done anymore in the West with cattle and things like that and branding. I think that the farm is on the way down. I don't know. He has 200,000 acres or something like that. It's worth $500 million. But to get to your point, I think that I don't think we're gonna see. Well, let me say this: I think we're going to continue to see Rip, even though they have to go away for a year. I'm not so sure about that, but Rip is the show, man. I tell you. Now you didn't know this, that the train station. Did you know about the train station?
No, you didn't tell me about it.
All right.
Yeah.
The train station is when someone did something wrong to the Duttons.
They took him to the train station?
He took him to the train station,
Yeah.
which is up on a mountain on the way to wherever it's going. And
Yeah.
you pull over the side of the road, and this is the train station. So the guy gets out of here. There's no train station here.
Yeah, I think
so.
I know
Rip
what's gonna
goes
happen.
boom right in the
Yeah.
head,
Yeah.
and over they goes
Oh,
down
okay.
into the canyon. The body goes to the train station. A lot of people have been to the train station, never came back.
Okay, fair enough. You know what I miss, and I would love to see it, is when someone got roped to the train tracks and they got to get out of it before they get hit by the train. That was like a back in the day Western, right?
That's
When they
true.
roped you to the train
Right,
tracks.
in cartoons, too.
I always wondered if I could get out of something like that.
You couldn't.
I probably could.
No.
I'm Italian and Hispanic. I'll find my way out.
True.
Yeah, but you think about that. If you put somebody on the train tracks, who can ID the body?
Snidely Whiplash used to do that years ago with cartoons.
Yeah.
When he used to hook olive oil to the tracks, and Popeye had to come and save her.
That is a great reference by Papa Joe, my
Snidely
encyclopedia.
Whiplash.
I don't want to be chained to the train tracks, though, or put on ropes down there. But that was always a thing as a kid, when you were playing the games and cowboys and robbers and different things. You would always, that would be one of the things. You put somebody on the train track, you put them on the rope, and then you put a little train on the ground, right? And see if it can get to them in time. But, yeah, I'm definitely liking Yellowstone. I'm loving the way the Jaguars are playing. And how about this? I said this in hour number one. Jacksonville is the keeper of their own destiny. No matter what the Titans do in the next two games, if Jacksonville wins out, they will win the division and get a home playoff game. Because if the Titans are 7-7, Jaguars are 6-8. So if the Titans go 9-7 and the Jaguars go 8-8 going into that final game here in Jacksonville, 9-7 Titans, 8-8 Jaguars. If that were to happen and the Jaguars win, then they're in, and the Titans would be trying to fight for a wild card. So if Jacksonville wins their next three games to end the regular season, no matter what the Titans do, they're in.
It's true. But
Keepers of their own destiny.
They have to win on the road, and they have to win against a good team on the road. So, frankly, I don't know who they're playing next.
They're playing the Jets on Thursday night, so the whole nation will be watching that one. James Robinson, a Jet now, mind you. And they'll be playing the Texans on the road. The only win that the Texans have this season is against the Jaguars. They're 1-12-1, and beyond, so they got to avenge that, and then they play the Titans at home.
Yep.
In January.
Those are three very important games.
Yeah.
I tell you, we saw how important Travis Etienne is to the offense.
He came back. They literally, right after they said he was out with an ankle injury, he came back in that series.
Yep.
So
And
it's
we know
crazy.
why Robinson is no longer with the team. I mean, even though James Robinson was a very functional player for the Jaguars, but nothing like this kid. This kid can rip open a 20-yard gain at a snap of an eye.
One
He's
thing, too, they have
extremely a talented man.
They have Jermichael Hasty.
He's a good one to play.
And they have
too.
Jamal, who's a wide receiver, but he plays running back, too. They have designed runs for him.
Yep.
So they have Trevor. So you have a bunch of weapons with ETN that can help to alleviate, not having James Robinson there. But what do you think about playing an overtime game? Now, granted, it was Sunday at 1 o'clock, so playing an overtime game, finishing a little bit after 4, and then having a short week to go on the road and play on Thursday. So you got a short week, you played overtime, and you have to go on the road.
Well, they got to do a lot of film watching and I don't think they're going to have any practices, I'm sure, but it's going to be a very telling week. Well, I'll find out what the injury situation is too. I don't know why I didn't read that this morning, so I'm looking forward to see what they do in New York. Great place to visit this time of year.
Yeah,
go up and down Broadway and eat, watch shows, play football.
Well, yeah, and so and you look at the Jets are fighting for their lives as well. I mean, the Jets are in a place right now where there is not a single losing Patriots who are 7-7 apiece, and then you have the 8-5 Dolphins, and you have who's already clinched a playoff berth. The only team to clinch a playoff berth in the AFC, the Bills, who are 11-3. Now, in the AFC North, it's still open. The Ravens are behind the Bengals, who just took the lead. The Bengals are in first place, 10-4. Those of you that forgot about the Bengals, forgot that they made the Super Bowl last season, they're now 10-4 and have the opportunity to win their division above the Ravens, 9-5. The Titans, we talked about that, 7-7. Jaguars 6-8. Behind them, the Colts 4-9-1, and the Houston Texans are one of a few teams to be eliminated or still have a shot at 8-6. The Broncos are out at 4-10, and in the NFC East, despite losing to the Jaguars, which would have secured their playoff berth, other things happen in the run of the NFL that can still give you a playoff scenario. So the Cowboys have made the playoffs with the Eagles. Neither team has won the division outright, though. Eagles are 13-1. The Cowboys are 10-4. But the Eagles would have to lose all their games for the Cowboys to win the division. And then the Vikings have already won the division of the North at 11-3. The NFC South does not have a winning record. The Bucs lead the division 6-8. Panthers, Saints, and the Falcons are all 5-9. So think about this, folks. Every team in the not having a winning record, every single team from the first team to the fourth team has a chance of winning the division still with 3 weeks to go. The Falcons, the Saints, the Panthers, or the Bucs could win the division because they're all that bad this year. And in the NFC West, the Niners have won their division at 10-4, and the Rams are 4-9, winning a Super Bowl. The Cardinals are eliminated. The Bears are also eliminated in the North. So, PJ, when you're looking at things right now and knowing that the NFC South is wide open, the AFC South is open as well, the NFC East is open, the AFC East is open, with the AFC North is open, with 3 weeks to go and having a bunch of these divisions still undecided, just what that means to football across the country.
Oh, it'd be fun to watch it. I mean, if you're a fan, even if your team is 8-8 right now, or 6-6 or 6-7, you still got a chance. It's fun to watch. Watching Kansas City yesterday, I watched them, and they didn't look like they had the jazz that they usually have, and they weren't playing fast. It was sort of blah. Yeah. And then you can't let a team with only one win in the game. And they let the Texans in the game. Then they had to fight for their ass the rest of the game. Yeah. And they won it out. The sheer brilliance of Patrick Mahomes, who he still threw over 300 yards, and it looked basically easy, but the defense just didn't look like themselves. And Lovie Smith, I don't know why he's still around coaching football, because I don't think he's ever had a winning record. He may have had a winning record with the Chicago Bears a while ago, but I think he's outlived his usefulness too. I don't know what you do with the Texans.
But can we talk about the Texans for a second here? They beat a Jaguars team who seems to be getting better as time's gone by this season. They almost beat a Cowboys team on the road, 27-23 that they lost, and they had the Chiefs going into overtime and lost 30-24. So they're 1-12-1. However, if the Jaguars are to make the playoffs, that means that they've gone toe-to-toe with the Jaguars, the Cowboys, and the Chiefs, and almost won those games against three. Or what happens? The Jaguars have proven that they're a better team this year. I said going into the season, I wanted 7-10, and if they could get to 7-10, I'd be happy. Yeah. Got a shot of getting to the playoffs. The Cowboys are in the playoffs. The Chiefs have won their division and are in the playoffs, and the Texans have given them all hell.
Yes. The Texans. Well, Lovie Smith is a defensive coach, and maybe they're having problems at quarterback. Although the Mills kid looked pretty good yesterday. It just wasn't a nondescript game. It was awful. But I was flipping back and forth, and I didn't want to. Anytime Patrick Mahomes has a football, I don't want to miss anything. So I was flipping back and forth with the channels. Mary was yelling at me because she wanted to watch the Jaguars. And I said, well, the Jaguars don't have the ball, honey, so I had to go back to Patrick Mahomes. So she got mad at me.
So, how dare you change that channel, PJ? Yeah. But the Jacksonville Jaguars getting a victory, getting a win. What do you feel? I mean, I know what I feel in the locker room. I know what I feel from being around the team for the majority of the last 12 years. I've gotten a very clear kind of emotion that's becoming more and more clear, I should say. But I know what it's like from my sense of it. Watching the Jaguars a few years ago make it to the AFC Championship game for only the third time in their history, what do you feel this year? How does this team feel comparative to that team a few years ago. What's your sense of it?
Well, I think that they have better players this year, and certainly it's the coach. I mean, Doug Pederson, we mentioned earlier, he sat back and was fielding offers to come back to coaching, and when he got a call from the Jaguars and started studying what they had with Trevor Lawrence, and he's saying to himself, and I've said this before, I'm going to build this team around this kid, and he is, and he's got a fast defense. The kids play tough. Jenkins was everywhere. I mean, it was, but you're playing home, you're playing on grass, which they love to do. Most everyone should be playing on grass. Now they got to go out of town, up to a cold climate on tarmac. They're going to be playing on tarmac. That junk that they got up all around the places. I know Aaron Rodgers said something a couple weeks ago. Rodgers hasn't done much good this year, and I'm critical of him all the time because he's such a diva. Yeah. But he said
synthetic surface.
He said that everyone should go back to grass surfaces.
Yeah,
everyone. So I look at the Chargers yesterday playing. They got a beautiful stadium, big sunlit atrium and everything, and they got phony turf on the ground. I don't get it. I mean, are they telling me that this is supposed to be cheaper to use than grass?
The grass in Jacksonville is called Bermuda grass.
When Buffalo was shoveling out from their catastrophe there with 9 feet of snow, they had a tarp on the field. They had the snow on top of the car. They had to shovel the snow off, then roll up the tarp. And what are they going to uncover? They're going to uncover a ground that's 30 degrees hard, and people are going to get hurt. Rodgers is right about that. I think if you put a pencil to it, most of these dome stadiums.
I don't like turf because I don't like walking on it.
No.
You see the stuff coming out and all those pieces.
Phony.
Like I feel like I've gotten turf in my shoe, which means the turf would have had to jump up over an inch and fall. Like as you're walking in it, I'm like, I come out and it's like, because I had dated somebody that was a soccer player, and she would take her shoe off after a game and she had turf all in her shoe and all over the place, and it's just not, and like, and it would like get in your legs. It starts to like try to embed in your legs. It's like some alien fake grass. And listen, I mean, I understand it might look nice, but if you stand on it as a human being, if you stand on grass, now granted, if it's got to be the right type of grass, because I've been on soccer fields before where it's like there's these grooves and stuff, and those are very unsafe. Break your ankle on that. But if you have well put together grass, even, and you don't have all these bumps and dips and peaks and valleys of the grass, there's nothing like standing on grass as opposed to standing on turf. And you see, I mean, these guys, again, it's artificial. And anything that's man-made is meant to not be perfect. And this man-made turf, how many times have you heard about somebody getting a cleat stuck in there and getting injured?
And they're getting injured on a non-football play. Just by doing calisthenics or maybe doing their pregame routines. It's not fair. It's not fair to the kid.
No.
I mean, if you got an athlete, a real serious athlete like Jenkins, who's 6'1", 220 pounds and plays a mean-ass corner, if he goes out on one of these phony turfs and twists his knee, he's done. Look at Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is out now for the year, and the doctors are saying they can get him ready for next year.
Yeah.
Well,
You want to know something?
What?
There are 30 total NFL fields across the country, because remember, there's people that play in certain places. 16 of the NFL fields have real grass, 14 have turf. It's almost a 50-50 split. About 51% grass, 49% turf.
That's interesting. I didn't realize it was that close.
Yeah, 16 are still playing on real grass.
Well, if you ask the trainers will say, give me grass. Coaches say, give me grass. But the general managers who write the checks, they're going to say, hey, it's too expensive.
Commanders.
Wow.
The Chargers and the Rams in the same field at SoFi. The Vikings, the Patriots, the Saints, the Giants, and the Jets both at MetLife. and the Seahawks. Christmas week.
That's right.
It is December 19th. We are down here in the Sunshine State, the Jaguars gift of my Super Bowl. And we will get into, after the break, a rapid fire where you and I will ask each other questions and things that we love. That'll be coming up right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Stay tuned to the Cafe Kubal Studios.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock.
Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond. You can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsa Q's, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus.
This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York. Coming to you, fall 2022. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. It is Christmas week, and there's no better place to start that week off. Our corners in North Syracuse in their drive-thru location, and of course on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, where you will get their double-decker cafe. Here on Wake Up Call with PJ, we have the opportunity to bring you into Christmas and the holiday season. Happy Hanukkah, happy celebration of lights, and all the holidays you celebrate, and we celebrate Christmas. So PJ, we're going to do a Christmas rapid fire.
Uh-oh.
What that means is you and I are going to ask questions to each other back and forth to round out today's show. Anything having to do with the Christmas season, and we're going to go one for one. So I'll ask, then you'll ask. Favorite Christmas cookie?
Oh, that would be Mary's Cutout Cookies.
Mary's Cutout Cookies? All right. Favorite Christmas cookie, Mary's Cutouts. Okay. Are those the ones that you ice?
Actually, she bakes, everything is homemade. I mean, she doesn't use any mixes.
Yeah.
Everything she does is from scratch. She makes chocolate chip cookies. She makes
the
fudge.
dough from scratch?
Huh?
Does she make the dough from scratch?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Miss Mary T?
Yep. She does her fantasy fudge, which is homemade also.
That's great.
She makes a cookie called Kitzels, which is a German cookie from her side of the family. And she makes cut-up cookies, of course. And she just made a kind of a coconut macaroon with a chocolate chip in it.
So good.
Oh, those are awesome. So anyway, she's a serious baker.
I had the coconut chocolate chip cookies and the fudge while we were watching Yellowstone. So
Very good.
I was watching Rep while I was eating myself a cookie. What's your question?
What's your favorite cookie?
My favorite cookie.
From Aunt Marie's days.
Yes. So it's one that I'm going to go home and make before Christmas, and that is my grandmother's chocolate loaf.
Yep.
She would have a loaf, and what it is you put powder all over it, but when you cut it, it comes out in long slivers, and it's got powdered sugar on the top, and it's got the dough in the middle, and it has chocolate in its center. It's got this chocolate fudge in the center. So you cut the loaf, and it's like eating a loaf of bread, but with chocolate in the middle.
Oh, that's serious right there. That's good.
Very good. All right, PJ, favorite Christmas movie?
That would be A White Christmas.
Okay.
With Bing Crosby.
With the Bing Bing Crosby. Okay.
Then who's yours?
My favorite Christmas movie, I always say Home Alone.
That's not a Christmas movie.
Home Alone is a Christmas movie. It takes place at Christmas. What are you talking about?
No, go back in antiquity. Find a good one.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, let me say Home Alone 1 and 2, first and foremost. But I would also say the claymation Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh, okay.
At the Island of the Misfit Toys. That's my favorite. And I would probably say that one I'm going to pay more attention to, probably watch it this Christmas, is It's a Wonderful Life.
Yep.
Got to watch It's a Wonderful Life. I also was a big fan growing up of A Christmas Carol, and Disney did their version where Mickey goes back in time to different places. So I do like the message of A Christmas Carol when you go to Christmas, past, present, and future. And I think if a lot of people look through the windows of their home, maybe they would learn something. So maybe God should take us all on Christmas, past, present, and future so that we could start getting life right again. Maybe we should all go on A Christmas Carol. Favorite Christmas song?
The Little Drummer Boy.
Okay.
With Bing Crosby and Sting.
Very nice. I like it. Good
The
answer.
Little Drummer Boy.
All right. What's your question?
What's yours?
My favorite Christmas song? It's tough. Probably White Christmas, that was in the Bing movie.
Yep.
I do like that one. I like... Oh, that's tough. Mary, Did You Know?
What?
The song about her baby boy who's Mary, Did You Know? So Pentatonics does a really good a cappella to that. But I would say Mary, Did You Know? I would say White Christmas. And there's so many good ones. I'd probably Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer because that's my favorite movie.
Of course.
So I'd probably have to say that one. I think if you want to know something about me when it comes to Christmas, if there's anything reindeer related that like you can buy, but Rudolph is not in it, I won't buy it.
Okay.
He's got to be in it. Do you know? Can you name all the reindeer?
No.
You want to see me do it?
Yes.
On Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer, on Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner, and Blitzen, and Rudolph.
Very good.
There you go. Bang. All right, PJ. Favorite Christmas food, like
Ooh.
actual food. Favorite,
Food.
like what you eat for Christmas.
Well, what we usually do during Christmas is make a very good prime rib.
Okay.
Except this year we're deviating a little bit from the prime rib. We're going to have a loaf, not a loaf, a prime rib.
We're gonna have roast beef.
It is roast beef, but it's a tenderloin.
Pot roast?
Tenderloin roast beef.
Okay.
And I'm not going to put it on the grill. We're gonna do it inside. And Mary likes to do that, and she makes it really, really, really tender, with some great au jus, mashed potatoes. It's a staple. And of course, on Christmas Eve we have a house full here coming over. And every Christmas Eve, we make what's called a zuppa di pesce, which is our version of fish soup, Italian style. We have clams and mussels with a white or red clam sauce. I'm not sure. I think we're doing white this year. Over linguine.
Yeah, linguine and clams. My Uncle Pat and Aunt Sue would make that. Shout out to my Aunt Sue, who's still alive for this Christmas. God bless you. And we love you very, very much, Aunt Sue. And we love you up in heaven, Uncle Pat.
Right.
So,
what's yours?
My favorite food. Well, my mom. So my grandmother always made stuffed shells, and nobody's shells are better than G Mama. Nobody's. And so my mom will make. She asked me this year, "Do you want shells or lasagna?" And I was like, "Shells." I mean, if it's Christmas, it's shells. I love what my dad and I do a play off the seven fishes, which is an Italian tradition, and so my dad and I do 4 pieces of seafood. We do scallops, shrimp, lobster tail, and he found my Grandma Miller's recipe for calamari. So we're going to make some calamari, probably put it in with angel hair and buttered sauce.
Very good.
So we're going to do that. And I love rigot pie. I always make my grandma's rigot pie. So we're going to do that. All right, PJ, last Christmas question in rapid fire. What is your favorite Christmas tradition of all time?
You see it over there, the train under the tree. The train under the tree.
And I still
Had
have
that
my
for years
picture.
and years and years. You still have your train?
I have the picture of when you would put all the trains in the garage.
Oh yeah, yep. Now, well, we had a little girl last year that was watching our train, but not this year. So it's just going to be the regular family, and of course Joe gets a big kick out of it, and he actually likes to help to put it up, but he's just so busy right now that MT and I did it. It's not very difficult to put together, and it gives us a lot of pleasure.
Yeah, and I love that you have the train under the tree. My dad gave me last year, if you believe this or not, you believe in Christmas miracles, and this is why I believe in Santa and the spirit of Santa Claus. So last year, my dad had gotten me a gift, and it was in this long cardboard covering, and he's like, open it, and he had gotten me a beanbag toss, a cornhole thing, and it looked like that, and I was like, what is this? I open it up. My dad goes, he said, I got you a gift from your grandfather.
Oh.
Craziest thing. My grandfather at that time had been gone 30 years. So he gives me this gift from my grandfather. I open it up, and it's in my living room to this day. It's in its box. My grandfather got me a train set, and there was a letter in there with my grandfather's signature. When my grandfather worked for Miller Brewing Company, they allowed only people that worked there to buy this train set, and you had to send it in, get the train set, but only workers could buy this vintage set, which is really hard to find. It's a very old train set. It's still in its box. And my dad gave it to me with the letter in there when my grandfather had paid and all that, and it had his name on it. And he said, this is not from me. This is from your grandpa.
Wow.
Because, this is how crazy God is. This is how insane God is in a good way. I lived in my grandparents' house, my dad's parents. I lived in their house a few years ago. I took over the house for about a year and a half. And so I lived in the house, went down to the basement, did my laundry, never found this. When my dad was cleaning out the house before he sold it, he found this train set down in the basement that he thinks my grandfather was hiding from me because he believes that my grandfather bought the train set before he passed away and was going to give it to me. So my dad, 30 years later, got to give me a gift from my grandfather that my grandfather was going to give me.
Is it work?
I didn't do it. I just left it in its thing so far. So
It's neat.
so my grandfather literally gave me a Christmas gift 30 years after he passed.
Very good.
Pretty cool.
That's nice.
What's your last question for me?
Well, what is your best tradition right now?
My best tradition right now. I would say the fact that, well, I love what my dad and I do, that we're going to cook together this year. And I love that we'll watch Christmas movies together, because I always love sitting around as a family, putting our phones away and watching a movie, because I can't stand when I just want people to sit and watch TV together and just enjoy, just make a memory instead of being on their phone. And then I would say with my mom, it's that my Aunt Donna and my cousins, who are more like little brothers to me, Nico and Miguel, come over, and we still open our presents under the Christmas tree at my grandma's old house like we used to do with my grandma and my grandpa.
That's neat.
So some traditions, as much as they're different, they're the same.
Yep.
Which are watching movies, cooking together, and opening presents under the tree. And if anybody is on their phone when we open presents under the tree, I threaten to break their phone. So, Nico, I'm looking at you. I love you, but you got to put your phone away. So, with that being said, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, put your phones away this Christmas. Spend time with your family. Watch the snowfall. Watch a movie. Look at the tree. Sing together. Play the piano. Listen to music. Cook together. Make sure that you make this year a new memory, a good memory, and one that you'll never forget.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from Papa Joe, from myself, Dan Tortora. Thank you to the Jaguars, and a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays and a Happy Hanukkah and everything to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Many thanks to Riley Patterson, Jamal Agnew, Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones Jr., Jawaan Taylor, and Foye Oluokun. Say it.
No, I can't.
Okay. Foye Oluokun. And a big shout out to the Jaguars giving me an early Christmas gift with the Cowboys, with that being my Super Bowl. I hope you all have a fantastic week. We'll be back here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for the rest of the week. And in the meantime, find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, and of course from the Cafe Kubal Studios. You are watching and listening every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all / Wake Up Call DT, WakeUpCallDT.com. Make sure you subscribe to our website there on WakeUpCallDT.com and on Facebook.com / LiveNowDT. Audible, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, on any one of your podcasting outlets and video outlets, and you'll get to watch and listen to us there. A big thanks to our incredible partners, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, Avicoli's, PB&J's Lunchbox, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Mother's Cupboard, Honda City of Liverpool, Chick-fil-A Watertown, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, and our newest partner, 317 at Montgomery, fine dining unlike any other that reminds me of the food that you see and eat at Disney, nestled in downtown Syracuse, 317 at Montgomery in downtown Syracuse. And of course, Wake Up Call is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins Fantasy Hub every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Make sure you pay attention to your Dolphins on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. for Dolphin Time. That's Wednesdays at 9 a.m. weekly. And every first and third Wednesday of each month, we have AD and DT. Every second and fourth Wednesday, we have the Dolphin Dive, and you can connect with your Dolphins in that respect. So make sure you're with us for stories with Athletic Director Bob Beretta, President Dr. Linda Lemura, head coaches, as well as student athletes, alumni, future Dolphins, and their administration like Dr. Linda Lemura. The Dolphins are available to you on the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com. Subscribe and bookmark for free. And, of course, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you could search all of our Dolphin content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. For more information on your Dolphins, go to their newly redesigned website at LeMoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. The Bobcats bring you the Bobcat Buzz monthly on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Student athletes, coaches, and more come to you with the Bobcats. We've had roundtable discussions with all the coaches. We've also had roundtables with coaches and their players, student athletes on video and audio, as well as the head coaches, having a great time with men's and women's soccer on their reigning national champion years, as well as men's and women's basketball that is currently in season. And we have also gotten to talk with the inaugural baseball team as baseball comes to Bryan and Stratton for the first time ever, Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. So, find all of our Bobcat content by going to the BSC Syracuse tab, bookmark it, save it, love it, and subscribe on wakeupcalldt.com. And subscribe to our Bobcat content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Search a Bobcat Buzz. For more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. With that being said, Papa Joe, Miss Mary T, Joey, and of course, Boom Boom and Marissa, and from myself, Dan Tortora, Merry Christmas from down in the Sunshine State. Thank you, Papa Joe.
Dominus vobiscum.
And a Merry Christmas from the both of us, right?
Yep.
Merry Christmas, God bless. And I'm not saying this because he's here. I am saying this because he's here. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying it because he's in my presence, but I'm saying it because I've been blessed to have him in my presence.
Oh, thank you.
I've done a lot of shows over 19 years, and I'm going to say this, and I mean it with every single part of me, because to me, it is my time capsule that I'll keep forever. I hope you live to be 100 plus, but I will say this to you, PJ. I have never been more honored to sit